my call to ministry is actually pretty cool. I was on active duty military service, and I've been a Christian for pretty much my whole life, so to speak. But I actually had a dream one night. In my dream, I was fishing, and I was on this sort of the bank of this body of water, and the water was really clear. I can remember, looking in the water and seeing all these little fish. And I remember you could see all these little fish in there, and all of a sudden there was this big fish that came swimming up in the middle. And I thought to myself, that's the fish I want to catch. And so I threw my line in, and I saw that fish take the bait, and, set the hook, and I started reeling it in. And when I pulled this fish up out of the water, it was no longer a fish, it was a man. It was a full-grown man on the end of this fishing pole. And I woke up at that point, and immediately, my thoughts went to Jesus and his disciples when he says, "Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." And so I started calling all the pastors that I knew, and trying to figure out what God was really trying to say to me. And most, pretty much all of them came up with the same thing. They wouldn't outright tell me, "Hey, I think God is calling you to ministry," but they let me make that conclusion on my own. But really, just feeling that call from God saying, "Hey, this is what I want you to do, and if you follow me, I'm gonna make you successful in this," and so that's what I've tried to do. I was pretty much raised in the church, so from the time I was little, as far back as I can remember, I've always gone to church. But I remember our church, the church I was going to, Wyandotte Free Will Baptist Church was the name of it, and we had an altar call at the end of every service. And as a kid, I remember feeling like I was supposed to pray during that time, and so I would go forward and I would pray. And finally, one time my mom pulled me aside and said, "Hey, do you know what that time is for?" And so she kind of explained to me, like, that portion of time is really for people to respond to. And so then for like a couple Sundays after that, like I didn't go forward, but then I still felt like this need to go forward and pray. And so, finally, I think it was just one Sunday, I just realized, what this is. I've always gone to church, I've always known the right thing, but I don't think I've ever really asked God into my heart. And so I went forward to pray and ask God to come into my heart and forgive me of my sins. And I remember looking over and seeing my uncle praying next to me, and he would, like, tears were falling out of his eyes into his, like, little pools of tears on his glasses. And I just remember those vivid details from that. But so I never had really one of those exciting 180 testimonies where but I did come to a point where I realized that no matter how good I thought I was, or how righteous I thought I was, I still needed a Savior. And so I was on active duty I wasn't doing anything pastoral or religious in the military. I was a medical lab tech in the Army and active duty, so I was working in a hospital. But I felt God calling me into ministry, and so I was trying to follow that while I was still on active duty, and finally got to the point where I really felt like, God wanted me to go into this ministry full time. And so I started looking into becoming a chaplain in the Army, and part of that process was going to seminary and getting that was a requirement for chaplaincy. And so in order to do that, I had to get out of active duty, go into the reserves, and get into this chaplain candidate program. And then when I got into that program, I was able to, sort of pick where I wanted to go. Just as long as I was going to an accredited seminary, it really didn't matter where. So ended up deciding on Evangelical in Myerstown, made our way back to Pennsylvania. And since my wife is from Gettysburg, we tried to find a place that was kind of close to that, and so we settled on Chambersburg. And the main reason was so that I could go to seminary and finish that. And through that whole process, God has led us here to Memorial, it's really been amazing how He's opened doors, all through that time as we've coming here. Once we got here, just by opening up a position for me to have a job while I was going through seminary, by even me being accepted as seminary and making it through that, and all the things that we've done, even getting to this point here at Memorial, it's just been, God led through the whole time. When I first came to Memorial, one of the things they asked me, to describe my ministry or what myself as a pastor, and I use the term, I'm a perpetual student of the Bible. I'm fascinated by what we can find in the Bible, and I'm always learning new things, and I think that's what's awesome about the Bible, is that even though I've read it, multiple times, I've read through books, different books of the Bible multiple times, and as I preach through a book, I'll find new things, and it's just like, you just continue, even as you grow, you continue to learn more and more about God's character, and you find things that maybe you didn't see before, or He speaks to you in a different way, or, it's just amazing how much we can learn from that. So I call myself a perpetual student of the Bible, just continuing to learn and find new things as I grow.
Moment.
Is your mic plugged in?
It is not.